Hello? Hello? I think we're about to begin. So I'm Paula Weinberger from the Marin Poetry Center, and I'm delighted to see you here. It's on this really joyous occasion celebrating all of the wonderful poets whose work appears in this new high school anthology, which is on sale for those of you who want a copy for $10 outside. And I'm going to call Barbara Brown up of the Marin School to say a few words of welcome to you.
Welcome, everyone. It's really wonderful to have you here today. We love having people come and visit the Marin School. We're a small independent school. We have 82 students who are in high school, and we strongly support the arts. We think of ourselves as a small school with a big impact, and this program is a good example of having a big impact on students' lives. We're thrilled to be associated with it, and thanks again for coming.
Thank you, Barbara. We so much appreciate having the use of this wonderful facility. It's really made it so much easier for us to hold this ceremony. So we're so grateful to Marin School. I just want to say a very brief word about the Marin Poetry Center, in case you don't know about it. We're a totally voluntary organization, and really our goal is to try to be the voice of poetry in Marin for people of all ages. And we have lots of readings from members and guest poets. We have our own anthology, which is also on sale, that we publish once a year of our members. We have poetry groups. We have poetry critique groups. And so if you're at all interested, and we'd love for our young people or teachers or anybody to join, and it's a very nominal membership fee. So we have some brochures, or you can always go to our website, which is www.marinpoetrycenter.org, and it will it will tell you everything that's happening at Marin Poetry Center, and we also list other kinds of poetry events that are happening in the community. The high school project, of which this high school poetry contest is one, is something that has been a part of the Marin Poetry Center from its very beginning. So it's in its 27th year. And in addition to the poetry contest, we've also been experimenting with a number of other kinds of events. And I want to just tell you briefly about them because we hope that they'll become annual events. We did what we called a Dream Chaser Assembly at Drake High School. And that was a celebration of the arts in which students who had poems in prior anthologies, singers, musicians, just a gathering of people celebrating the arts. And they had reserved one assembly period, and we had about 150 people. And it was just such a high. I think everybody that was there came out exhilarated. And so we'd like to open this invitation to other schools, and we'd be glad to assist you, because we have a blueprint now of how to do this, of having your own Dream Chaser Assembly. So if you're interested, please let us know, and I'm sure we'll also be trying to contact you about it later on in the year. The other thing that some of you might be aware of, we did something called the genre mashup, and I'm going to let our poet laureate, Prato Sereno, tell you a little bit about it.
So it's wonderful to be here. I'll talk a little bit more about that because I am your hostess, so you'll see a lot of me tonight. But hopefully I'll be mostly in the background. But I do want to say, as Poet Laureate, this is my second year. It's a 2-year tenure. I'm just starting my second year. And in the first year, probably the most successful event we had was something called the genre mashup. And a genre mashup is where, well, let me just explain it. We got many high schools to pair up in Marin County. So it included the Marin School, it included Novato High School, it included Tam High School, Drake High School, Brant's, no, not Brant's, anyway, I can't remember all the schools at the moment, but what we did is we traded artwork. So my project as the poet laureate, a project is part of what a poet laureate does. You find some way that you're going to be an ambassador for poetry in the community. And my project is to mix the arts, because I feel like poetry often, people keep it a little bit at arm's length. It's a little scary for a lot of people. And if you have a dancer there, it changes things. If you have a musician there, it changes things. If you have a little bit of painting and color. And so we brought all the arts together, and the students responded with poetry to photography from a school they didn't know. So they didn't know anyone who they were responding to. It was only the arts responding to one another. I hope I'm making sense. So, and then we did it vice versa. We did all kinds of changing so that people responded to poems with paintings and like that. And so one of the results is actually on the cover of your anthology. This painting was made as part of the genre mashup. And in fact, maybe I'll give a little nod to the artist. It was the desert. Oh, it was here. It was from here. That's right. It was from the Marin School that has big results, as we can see. And the title is The Desert, and it was Rowan.
Oh, that's the poem.
Uh-oh, that's the poem. You're right. I'm sorry. Winter Blues by Moya Morgan. Sorry, Winter Blues by Moya Morgan. But let me also say that the title of the anthology, which I hope you're enjoying, I quite liked it, is from a poem, The Desert by Rowan Lover. So now I've said them both. Anyway, so we hope that anybody here in a high school, whether you're a student or a parent or a teacher, and you're interested in the genre mashup, please contact us. And we will get you involved in this wonderful program. It ends in an amazing event at Falkirk Cultural Center, which is a place where many artists, professional artists in Marin show their work. But we had 2 months of student art in Falkirk. We had a beautiful event with music, singing, dancing, poetry, and we're going to do that again in January. So please contact us.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm going to officially introduce Parto in a little while, but I thought she was the best person to tell you about the genre mashup. Another event, I was hoping that the organizer of Lit Crawl San Rafael would be here, but I don't see him. But it is Lit Crawl San Rafael. This year it's on Saturday, October 8th. And last year and this year, we have a whole area in the plaza, the courthouse plaza, that's reserved for teen creations. Last year, we had an open mic, and Parto actually choreographed this event called Floetica with poets of all ages, musicians, dancers. That was really exciting. And so we're going to be reaching out to you, or we hope you reach out to us if you're interested in participating or having ideas, because this plaza is basically for teens, and it's to do whatever, excites you. So I'm giving you a heads up about that. And now I'm just going to take a minute just to do some special thank yous. We've had so many volunteers. I was thinking there's over 30 volunteers that have helped to put on this, both the poetry contest and this wonderful award ceremony. So I can't thank all of them, although we deeply appreciate their help. I'm just going to mention a few. Barbara Brooks, Gary Rillo, and Angela Quirk were the team that helped sort through the 1,000 poems that were submitted to this contest, and had the agonizing job working with a team of around 20 other poet readers to pick the 50 poems that ended up in our anthology. And then Parto has been very much involved, and she was our judge this year, who picked the first, second, and third prize winners and our 3 honorable mention. Claire Blotter was our coach for those people who were able to take advantage and wanted to practice their poems before this event. And Claire put so much love and energy into her coaching. I'm sure everyone that had come, really appreciated what she had to contribute. And I want to thank Gabby Rillo again, because Gabby, for the umpteenth time, has organized this whole spread and just all the logistics of tonight. I mean, it's just amazing that she manages to do it. She was called away to a funeral, and she had to leave Monday night, came back this morning, and somehow got this beautiful spread on the table. So great thanks to Gabby. And John Rhodes, who's our videographer, just so that you know, John is there, will be videoing the poets, and we'll be putting that video on YouTube, and links to the video will be at the Marin Poetry website and on our Facebook page. And I guess now I'm ready to introduce our MC for the evening, Parto Sereno. As she mentioned, she's Marin Poet Laureate, which is a great honor. And Parto is an acclaimed poet herself. Her most recent volume of poetry, Elephant Raga, was the winner of the 2014 Blue Lynx Prize. And she's been a long time and beloved teacher. I've been one of her students for 6 years, I think, in a course called the Poetic Pilgrimage at College of Marin. And she's also been an active and incredible instructor of students of all ages through Poets in the School. So I'll turn the evening over to Prato.
Thank you all very much. So this event is really one of my favorite events of the year because I have a real personal connection to this program. When I first came to Marin County, which was in, I think, 1998, so that's almost 20 years ago, I knew that poets were my people, and so I started looking for them, and I saw a little thing in the Pacific Sun that said the High School Poetry Awards ceremony is going to be this Thursday. And so I went, and it was at Falkirk Cultural Center, and I remember sitting in the back, and I remember just being blown away and thinking, okay, I've found my place. And then very shortly after that, I was on the committee that ran the poetry contest. I got involved, and it's been wonderful ever since. So I'm really happy to be part of this. The other thing is, since I've been a poet in the schools for so long, because I started my Poets in the Schools work in 1999, some of you probably had me when you were very little, and we've both changed a lot. So I don't know if you recognize me or not, but there was a little talk out there that it was possible that some of you, I had you in first grade, so it's possible. And one of the things that I thought about just before I came here on stage is about what would happen in those first grade classes and second grade, and still happen in second grade classes. When you ask a child what a poem is, and they've been around it for a little while, they say, it's a bird, it's the trees, it's the sunlight coming in. It's when your heart starts to jump around and you don't know what to say. It's everything. I had a student once who raised her hand. She said, poetry is everything. I think she was 6, so I'm going to quote them tonight. So I think without further ado, because I know you're all eager to hear these poems, and I have been very moved by these. I spent a lot of time with them. It's a very difficult job to judge. I've organized the contest for years. I've been a first reader. I've never judged the contest. This is my first time, and now I have great sympathy for the judges. Because, of course, every poem is a winner. You're 50 out of 1,000, just remember that. 50 poems out of 1,000 got to this point, and there's something that touched people in every poem that we're going to hear tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to ask, and actually I think Dominic might be one of my previous students. I'm going to ask Dominic Phillips to come up first, and he needs a little assistance, so it's going to take a minute. So Dominic is from the Marin School, and he's going to read his poem, Languages. We're going to go kind of in order after Dominic, but right now he's page, I can't remember the page. You don't need to look. It's better to listen.
Ready? You can start.
Languages by Dominic Phillips.
I like the structure of language. The way, for example, words borrow from the roots. Cure for curare, bene for benevolent, sent from the centuries of linguistic sharing.
I like the sing-song pitches of tonal languages. Ma is the loving mother. Ma is the swift steed. Ma is the bothersome child. Ma is the mother that scolds, the disappointment in her voice.
And the soft flow of intonation languages of amor and the corazon. Mangia, the roundness of melanzane. Liberal doses of roses. The romance of Belle.
Even in the deep-throated guttural sounds, there is a sense of permanence. Voreda upon rising. The marriage of Bruid. A fortune in Pabloch. There's a rhythm to the repetition, an invitation in Palapala Kono, the majestic wail Pakake, a simple thanks with Mauru Uru.
I understand that we do have tech support on its way. But while we're waiting, we're going to hope that Paige Colvin has a great, strong voice and spirit. Please bring Paige Colvin from Redwood High School. She's going to read Wild Girl.
Wild girl. She sucks blood through her teeth, rips into flesh like summer fruit, digs her claws into freshly wounded skin, and bears the pain through gritted smiles. She swallows water from a stream at noonday heat, rests under hanging willows in the cool of night, and wakes from dreamless sleep to the sun-crested horizon. She knows what a beautiful girl is and knows it is not her. At least not in the same way, not in the same lace and silk, honey and milk, ribbon bows, and button rose way. Her skin is raw and bitten. Patches of blood have dried her clothes and knotted her hair. She runs until her lungs give out, yelps at the copper moon, nuzzles half-frozen cheeks in a mother's fur coat. In her world, there are no hours to count, days to anticipate, minutes to watch crawling by. There is hunger and sleep and living. And what is important is that you can still feel your breath in your throat and a heart in your chest, feel the ground at your feet and the sky above your head. She knows that some people have conversations in quiet rooms and sit up straight in wooden chairs, burn their tongues on bitter tea while offering their compliments, bite their cheeks when gloves and suit jackets come calling until their mouth tastes like blood, and cough up the dust on their own lips, telling themselves that they like life this way. But she stays miles away. Curled back on rolling waves of sweet grass, watching stars spell her name, and birds hold their breath when she is near. She licks salts off her jaw and laughs at the sunrise, wondering if the beautiful girls have ever been happy a moment in their life.
Yeah, this mic is actually for the video, and it's not going to help you at the moment, but it will help you in the future. So we'll stick with it. Also, anyone who does feel that they don't want to be in the video, which I can't imagine, but if that's possible, it's true, let us know and we will edit your piece out. Okay, the next the next poet is Megan Bartchat from Tam High School, and she is reading She Is Loud Like Breaking Glass. Please welcome Megan.
She is loud like breaking glass, like champagne sparkling and frothing from shards of bottle green. And when she laughs, she fills the ceiling with glitter. I watch her claim the silence cupped in her hands, all her own, to crack with a smile or a yawn or a scream. Young girls don't know how to be afraid. I look away when she shows me the open veins of her wrists, and I wonder, when was the last time she was afraid of herself, afraid of her hands? What is bravery anyway? I used to be afraid of my blood, afraid of the way my hands reached for the sharp edges of knives, needles, matches, fire. That fear is gone now. Almost. And now I'm standing still, just standing, wishing I could let go of my body. She told me what her ex-boyfriend did to her at the movie theater. She told me what her ex-boyfriend did to her. And now I'm standing still, wishing I could be a dead body. She told me. Her ex-boyfriend taught her how to be a dead body. Young girls shouldn't know how to be afraid of their own hands. What are you supposed to say to that? I'm sorry.
What is bravery? It's reading your poems. It's really quite, this collection is very brave. I tell people that in the last few years, the poems have become more and more engaged with the world, it seems. There's a lot of courage in the poems, and you'll definitely hear that more and more tonight. Our next reader is Adam Savage from Terra Linda High School, reading Untitled.
Hello, my name's Adam. It was hopeless. I tugged at the chain on the bike rack and sighed. The key regularly hanging from my lanyard was gone, and the incessant rain trickled through the plastic roof that covered the bike rack. It was cold, and the wind felt like chilling metal against my skin. I began to think about the warm confections that used to wait at home. The steam and stew, the pulp and the bread, warm, cozy, and hearty. I didn't cry then because no one was around to remember Mom anymore. I cried because nobody was ever there to forget her. Thank you.
Oh, I see. Okay, good. Okay, our next poet is Emily Crone from Novato High School, Empty Space. Please welcome Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily Crone, and this is my poem, Empty Space. The space between mattress and sheet, where emptiness lies in sinister slumber, is most tangible in the hours of dark, when sleepless eyes lie open in weary wait, credulous pawns of their own self-doubt. But with the orange glow that bores through shutter slats, in steady streams the spot transforms, a vacancy sign, properly illuminated with the hope of the unknown. Thank you.
Our next poet is Maya Willie from Novato High School, Taurus Divination.
Oh boy. I'm Maya Willie, and this is my poem, Taurus Divination.
By the tiptoe of the stars and their swift-footed saunter, you were born naked in a chrysalis of earth, dancing in blue-flared jeans to outdated illusions that made you feel free. Nothing could tame the tangles teased in your tresses, growing like vines on cobblestone, or from a head stubborn as a bull. Compassionate and generous, love is something garrulous, and your mouth runs like water, laughing, as you careen between rocks and wood and leaves of debris, left by the miscalculations of bordering signs, guided by disparate, disheveled stars. But you just kept babbling about, flushing all kinds of purples and reds, as your mind drifts slowly to fantasies of the skin between the scapula, and the stubble that swathes the mandible, or if patches of skin can even be assigned a gender. But you don't care, because astrology and astronomy and anatomy have enticed your veracity. The elated amethyst hues painting your cheeks aside, your art and seduction fused with your fibers rooted in the soil allow the planets to align within the universe and the cracks in your vertebrae. Sensuality circumscribing the zodiac circle places its intensity and its gravity upon you. For a tongue placed fastidiously at the base of the throat controls the draconian tethers reigned by Venus. The balance of 6 chakras pushes at the apex of your middle finger and thumb, and astral divination wrinkles across your forehead. Augury in the clouds and the leaflets in your teacup whisper to you of finger-painting bluebells on summer evenings and writing novels by the firelight. This turn of the planets, the power in your breast, will thrive, and your fire will flourish with the growth of blossoms and the maturation of the redwood trees in the late spring. The earth will giggle its secrets to you late at night when the stars have gone to bed, so keep your ear out for her, young Taurus. The year of the monkey will bring galaxies to your doorstep. Thank you.
Our next reader is Michaela Herbert from San Domenico, and the poem is Girl Mother.
Hi, I'm Michaela Herbert. Girl mother, life forced into shaking belly, child womb carrying childs. Memories larger than the tall shadow that covered hope and sleeping frame. Sweat beads as she splits open, giving life from one not yet ripe. Pink blood flowing like the ribbon in her hair. Little girl, little mother. Thank you.
And our next reader is Maxine Flasher Duzguns from Tam High School, Remotely Alike. Please welcome.
Stand up on? Okay.
It's just at the mic, though. He wants you, yeah.
Okay.
Your voice there, so that it'll be.
We are what we are until we go, you said. A house cat fleeing a coyote, a skunk in the process of being flattened. Any general life dangling casually over a manhole. I'm so done, you said to me one idyllic January morning, and you bestowed upon me your heart in so many convoluted little pieces. There was no way, I decided, in which I could re-break your counterpart, and how, I thought, in those diminutive moments, were you able to make the transition from an association of people to a mere individual? For that, why not have all our cats go missing? Our one skunk turn into 4 equivalents. Our general lives become more specific. if we both travel one direction, one length, keeping us both tied and separated, I'm bound to be taken as synonymous with you. However mannish that whole, will look the same, talk the same in the darkness.
I think our next reader is Angelina Vicencio. Is she here? No, I wasn't sure. Okay. Then our next reader is Kyra Fleischman from Marin Catholic, Suspicious Eyes. Please welcome Kyra.
I don't know if it's gonna go down. I can just, okay.
It is blocking your slide.
Thank you. Want a hit? The corners of my mouth lift in a lukewarm smile, but my eyes sink. Expired memories hopscotch across my neurons. My feet, safely tucked away in combat boots. My hands, interlaced with the sleeves of my unisex Goodwill jacket, 1.5 sizes away from swallowing me completely. 14.9 miles away from the liberal capital of the country, the Golden Gate City, the origin of dreams of freedom and hope that inspired Levi Strauss, Harvey Milk, the Grateful Dead, I utter, no thanks. Suspicious eyes raise at my tie-dye shirt. Are you sure? More than sure. Then a night of giggling and trippy universe conspiracies will not compensate for becoming a ghost the next morning, trudging through brain slush. That blowing my troubles through smoke rings will never mean as much as a listening ear or even screaming into a pillow. That I never want to feel like I can't function without THC in my bloodstream, that I never want to be held hostage in a state of illusion and falsity behind bars to my loved ones, my family, and friends. You say pot is not addictive. Try taking it away from someone. Wheels churn. Why can't I be kind of a hippie, no offense, without believing in hallucinogenics? Why do people expect that if you feel the burn, you feel it in your lungs too? Why is exhaling peace and nonviolence associated with exhaling dirty white smoke? I look at his joint and hope that someday people will learn to scuba dive through the meaning of life without looking through a kaleidoscope high. I hope that mental disorders will stop being treated with medical cards, snowballing into bigger problems of addiction and depression and attention deficit. I hope that drug lords, circus masters, circus masters of the underworld, will stop hurting hurt, desperate people. I meet his hazy, his droopy eyes, I'm sure.
I thought I'd try it. I think the gods are with us, though. Seems like you're upsetting in a good way, So our next reader is Annika Horn from Drake High School, The Cigarette. Please welcome Annika.
The Cigarette. They sit on a park bench, this man and his lover, her long fingers tangled in his hair, wispy arms wrapped about his head, lips pressed together in the autumn chill. He wears a tattered sweater, the color of hard-packed dirt, and the spine of a soldier. She wears a yellow and white dress and smells of the battlefield. Their kiss is brief, loveless, and full of memory. He shivers, blows a cloud of chemicals to the sky, and continues waiting for something that will never come.
and noticing, all the schools that have been represented here. It's just wonderful that we have all corners of Marin represented here. So our next reader is Gaspard Hosey, Tam High School. Please welcome Gaspard.
If I were time, I would go to the beginning. If I were darkness, I would go to the light. If I were love, I would go to the first spark. If I were a fish, I would go in the deep. If I were a sun, I would keep all my planets warm. If I were food, I would keep everyone's stomach full. If I were peace, I would take a stand. If I were the moon, I would love the tides. If I were a wolf, I would take care of my pack. If I were the future, I would be careful.
Cool. Okay, our next reader is Kendall Liston from Marin High School, Shattered Bricks. Please welcome Kendall.
Shattered bricks. Bricks rain from steel clouds, only to be shattered against concrete cities, where the air is a lingering smog that protests against clean air. I live in one corner of my concrete city, a single pixel in a broken window, where Sunday joggers sprint past so they forget a thing lives there. Where those who peek in tell a tale that from a single glance they see life and death simultaneously breathing and rotting in one place. Where asphalt cracks break your own back and moldy wooden beams are bones bleeding themselves dry for hope. Where I live unwanted in a cocoon with no illumination. My home is a storm of rigid glass, and my skull lives submerged in a sea of shattered bricks. Thank you.
And our next reader is Blake Nelson from Drake High School, High and Dry. Please welcome Drake.
High and dry. Along the beach I stroll, down the sandy coast, solitary footsteps, conversing with the ghosts. On my way I spotted, lost there in the sand, boats, high and dry, stuck on waves of land, left, lost, and forgotten, their captains far away, yearning for adventure, dying day after day. The ships relied on water, now deprived of the sea, left without a purpose. Who knows what those ships used to be?
And our next reader is Ela Moncrief from Drake High School, At Home. Please welcome Ela. Ah, well, we might want the podium if you're going to do that. Okay. I don't know. Do you like no podium? No podium. Okay, good. You want me to try? Woo!
Hello.
At home.
If home were by a stream, then I would hide in the depths of the clear waters and face upwards to see the rays of the sun distorted to look like golden stars, clustered together, flickering as old ones died and new ones would appear. If home were in the rocks, then I would hop along each one as though I was the stone, skipping across the lake, and I would bathe in the light on hot days like a crab at the beach. If home rested on green hills, I would sit at the highest peak and watch as the grass shivered in the wind, and the sun slowly descended onto its cot. And as the galaxy opened its eyes, so would I, and I would stand clear against the horizon and watch the earth turn slowly. Thank you.
And our next reader is Lily Willis from Drake High School, also Torn. Please welcome Lily.
Torn. You must take all the tears and put them in the shell. Place the foggy lines, which are sprawled about, into a broken bucket. Crush the memory between the curves in droplets, and flame of wills will be pressed between books in comfort and safety. The dusky window will be mapped with a whirl of turquoise silence. And though your thoughts might be divorced from any outcome, there will be a blazing light and a struggling sapling, and in the moonlight in the country will you find the truth, while in the moss by the highway will you find the beauty. You will have painted an ocean, written a mountain, and dried your tears.
And our next reader is Grace Lamont from Marin High School, Bottle of Mistakes.
Hi, I'm Grace Lamont from San Marin High School, and this is Bottle of Mistakes. A bottle of pills is a bottle of mistakes. One too many is all it takes to steal from me a friend so dear. You can yell in the silence, but they'll never hear. You can scream, you can shout, you can let the pain out, but they're deaf to you and you're deaf to them. And in all this, you know it's the end. They slash their wrists to get the pain they had missed. To feel is all they want, to know what's real rather than not, and this is all they got. So they reach and grab for a bottle of mistakes, chug it down with a glass of self-hate, close their eyes in mock peace. But don't they realize it's me who's gonna miss their smiles and life? Don't say goodbye tonight. There are no takebacks for your life.
Thank you for that. Where are we? Our next, I got lost in that one. Our next reader is Olivia Sayers from Drake High School, Forgotten Girls. Please welcome Olivia.
I'd like to make a disclaimer, I'm not Olivia Sayers, but the lovely Olivia Sayers has asked me to read her excellent poem tonight. Here's to the forgotten girls, to plain Jane and simple Sam. Here's to the girl who feels gravity's tug 10 times stronger than the rest of us, sinking further into cement and linoleum with each sneakered step. Here's to the girl who melts into the puddle of yet another man's footsteps, to the girl who follows, yet is left behind, trailing in the wake of yet another memory until painfully forgotten. Here's to the girl who is chased yet never given the time of day, to the girl who, quote, goes with the flow until she finds herself shoved through the memoriously moments and caught downstream. Here's to the girl whose soul trickfully through clenched fists until she realizes each knotted knuckle is just a finger unable to dig up the buried girl in the catacombs of her mind, and that the sum of her calloused fingers is only a hand incapable of stopping time. Here's to the girl who regrets every single decision she makes without fail, who changes her in a plaintive effort to make things different, only to render herself average, to the girl who thought the impossible for oozing options of others to change her mind. Here's to anyone who has ever been the one to hold back time from dribbling forward, leaking into the recesses of your brain, caressing your consciousness, leaving rust in the caverns of your mind. This is for everyone in the world who believes that the forgotten girl will someday be okay.
And our next reader is Miriam McMillan, also from Drake High School, Childlike. Please welcome Miriam.
To be blind, childlike, by Miriam McMillan. To be blind to your nose, to write the first chapter, to eat the wrapper. A little young you may be. To be a fly still hitting the window, to be a kid wondering why the answer was no. To be a lapdog sitting on a lap. Your unknowing is slightly short of innocent. To cheat at Rochambeau, to leave the chips outside, to depend on others' leftovers. One day you will learn. You give a fright to the park geese, you feed the bears at the zoo, you let the other one take the fall. We all can see right through you. You claimed, quote, it wasn't me. You claimed, quote, I fully understand. You claimed, quote, you only live once. At least your imagination still comes in every shade. It was only on the ground for 5 seconds. You won't become a zombie. But your listening skills state otherwise. The pomegranates were for your mother, but your once white shirt would disagree. Your goldfish that went to a better place, that better place being Candyland, she will be missed. Your name is naive, and your ignorance is bliss.
And our next reader is Sarah Hotchkiss from Drake High School, Rain. Welcome, Sarah.
The rain has been falling since we said our goodbyes. I can see that the rain washed the blue from your eyes. We're broken, you're frozen, it's bad for your health. If it never stops raining, then please, save yourself. I've been out in this storm for years not worth counting. Stay safe, love, stay warm, for love's not worth drowning. And if we should find that your bright light shines through, then I'll dance through the rain on my way home to you. Thank you.
And our next reader is Rowan, let's see if I say this right, Laver from Tam High School, The Desert. Please welcome Rowan.
Okay. The desert. A perfect. Oh, okay. Here? Okay. A perfect anonymity rests in the sand, wiped clean with wind. This is the land of wandering thoughts and lost names, whispered in reminder by the warble of birds. Here it is calm. Here there is a comforting defiance, a balance between the sun-baked sand, hearted and soft, glowing with gold, and with the cold, icy fingers raking through shadows and saguaro cacti. There is a hum, a magical shimmer of life, quiet and roaring, thriving with its simple, rebellious beauty. The weathered, hardened earth tells a story of endurance. It whispers its truth to ears that lie with it. The spikes adorn the cacti. It's silent and so loud with its fierce, angry survival. It stands tall, arms bent and twisted to the sky, daring the sun to deaden and shrivel it. The desert is a beautiful place to be lost. It drips and saturates the red earth with wisdom, with balance, with delicacy. It whispers, assured that someone without a name listens.
And our next reader is Alicia Potofsky from Drake High School, Neptune and Jupiter. Welcome, Alicia.
Hello. This is Neptune and Jupiter, inspired by the painting I in the Village by Marc Chagall. The innocent brown eye of the calf is a pool of amber and cherry bark. The lily-white fur is betrayed by the tracks of blood that run across it, made by the paws of mice. A ringed finger wraps around the trunk of a tree so thin it could snap like a twig, or patience. The fingernail digs into its soft, forgiving bark as the rosary beads tighten around the fleshy neck. Connected to the emerald face of envy, attached to the man who carries a weapon to reap what he has sown. The leaves of the tree shiver. The pollen floats like volcanic ash over a land of Neptune and Jupiter. She hangs by the hem of her sky blue skirt, from a clothesline pinned to the sun and the moon, just like the line that connects the minds of animals, the pale face that peers from the window of the yellow house to the cow that gives without asking for anything in return. The windows of the house are tiny, as if blocking out life and light, and our lips remain white, as if covered with a frost of silence. Thank you.
And our next reader is Alex Beers from Tam High, This Boy. Please welcome Alex.
This boy. Do you see this boy? No. No, you don't. He is invisible. Except when he isn't. You see, when he tries to appear, it all goes wrong. His hands begin to shiver. He sweats. He mumbles. He wixes up his merds. And when this inevitable outcome is complete, when they laugh, when they whisper, they disregard, they humiliate, his hole is dug deeper. But he never digs, never has, never will. No, those who must bear the burden of digging for this boy do not only put in the labor, they also end up with dirt on their hands. Perhaps if they would encourage, if they would care, if they would reach out, if they would love, maybe then what was once a hole could be built into a towering mountain. Thank you.
Our next poem is by a poet who was unable to be here tonight. His name is Jefferson Sosa Aguilar from Terra Linda High School. And he has family here who has asked this poem be read. And so our reading and delivery coach, our spoken word coach, Claire Blotter, is going to read it for him. So this is Jefferson Sosa Aguilar's poem. And Claire Blotter.
I'm proud to read this strong poem by Jefferson Sosa Aguilar called Dear Father, the Projects. Dear Father, the Projects. You raised gangsters, drug dealers, fathers, and dope killers in a home of saints. But for every child who died alone, you weren't there. You didn't care. Life in the streets ain't easy. Crack and meth racing at light speed while dead corpses investigate their own murder scenes. It's hard to grow up clean on these mean, dirty streets. Dirty as old paper, so thin and empty inside, trapped in a soul that's forgotten in its prized theme. Thinking he's a winner as they whip his back with a gold chain around a soul that's snapped. See a youngster sapping syrup with Sprite in the streets late at night. Is that what you want for your son, Dad? For him to lose his forever but think he won something better? But Father, you did teach a youngster to own his money in a den of thieves. Life's a living nightmare, but I've been loved by the white hair. You taught me to trust 7 friends, Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, Hamilton, Jackson, Franklin, and Grant, all the respect I need from 7 men. You think you rule the world, but money owns your soul. I lost my real father on a mission. That was his decision. Killed on your streets by a brother, another loss for a mother. Father Projects, you speak with a gun in your mouth, the only true voice in a city full of noise.
Thank you, Claire. And Jefferson for a beautiful poem. Our next reader is Jordan Holman from Drake High School, The Edge. Please welcome Jordan.
Standing at the edge of the world, gazing at the orange peel sky, mixing with the rose gold hues of mid-morning light, I am free from the shackles, bound by the sun. Standing at the edge of the world, our smiles shine as bright as the star we long to make a wish on. Our eyes illuminate the path beyond where we stand. Our hearts ache with a longing to explore. Our jagged scars are uncovered where we bury 1,000 stories. Standing at the edge of the world, the trees dance in the sky, the bristles striking our minds, telling us to trust in the moon. We are safe in the cradle of the night. Standing at the edge of the world, we tighten our fingers and intertwine them, our thoughts flooding the ground below. Standing at the edge of the world, the ghostly gusts of wind come rushing to our feet. The twirled ribbon road stretches to infinity in our minds. The clock ticks faster and faster, racing to catch the train leaving for adventure, never turning back. Standing at the edge of the world, the rose gold turns to pomegranate, unleashing the monster hidden in all of us, the desire to wander, to learn, to explore. Standing at the edge of the world, our feet cling to the cliff, but slip, our heels sliding along the twisted earth. Hanging on the edge of the world, we spread our wings, our sun-kissed cheeks laughing at the sun, and jump, knowing that life will be there to catch us.
And our next reader is Catherine Hassan from Marin Academy, reading Anxiety. Please welcome Catherine.
Anxiety. You are the fear of sharks in a swimming pool. I jump in because the days are hot and sweaty. I am trapped in that moment, leaning backwards in my chair, about to fall, but I haven't hit the ground yet. Everything is silent, but bombs go off in my head, in my stomach. You're just self-centered. No one actually notices these things. Wow, thank you. I'm all better now. This is great. Thanks so much. A door opens in my house at 1:17 a.m. You are the floor of my bedroom covered in clutter. I'm in bed when suddenly the pillows are steel wool and the sheets are gone, leaving me freezing and nervous. You are the bottle of poison without a child lock that opens itself after every minuscule mishap. An artist paints on scratchy fabric with a damaged brush. Its bristles all stick out the wrong way. You are my math teacher. You are my dentist making an appointment. You are the entire audience at a performance where I forget the words. You are my father's voice. You are my brother. Neither of us exist without the other. I am lost in New York City at twilight without a map. You are traffic on the way to the airport, the tingling in my feet, the split second before getting a shot because I wasn't scared until then. You are the crop top that called to me lovingly from a mannequin but now screams to be taken off my body because what did I think this was made for, fat girls? You are the looming realizations before they hit me. I am the space between an unanswerable question and its answer. I am the tension hanging in the air like spiders when everything should be fine. I am all of the should-bes and would-bes and what-ifs. You are the white lies I tell so I don't seem weird. You are my cat's claws scratching me harshly even though I don't want to let her go. You are passive finger bones on my neck. Thank you.
And our next reader is Aurora Schunman, I think. I'm very bad at this. Schunman. From San Domenico High School. Did you know? Please welcome Aurora.
Did you know? Did you know that shredded hearts can be mended? Did you know that our world is not yet ended? Did you know that we live in everlasting beauty? Did you know that we have a duty? Did you know that we can strive for light? So we must fight. Did you know that we can cease to slowly tear apart? Did you know that we can start?
And our next reader is Lila Hart from Tam High School, The Wheelbarrow. Please welcome Lila.
There is comfort in knowing it will always be there. The grass will always be a dusty, dull green. The house will be a color of baby blue that looks more gray and heavy than modern. I will always have to go through the overgrown berry bushes that afterwards leave me checking the bottom of my shoe to scrape a distorted, crushed beyond recognition berry. My socks always fall down. It's silly, but they do. The more I walk and walk and walk, the more they hide inside my shoes. Every time I stop, look down, and make an effort to pull the worn white socks up and give a firm tug on my laces. The wheelbarrow is always where I leave it. It never moves, never turns an inch out of place, and I never seem to notice that the round ties that when touch I find to be flat, or the scratches on the side that spell love in sprawled, spreaded handwriting that looks like it belongs to a 5-year-old. It probably does. Sometimes I pretend I wrote that there, and sometimes I pretend that the rust on this wheelbarrow is something more glorious, like gold, and the nails are diamonds. It makes me think it's actually worth something instead of a stupid rusted wheelbarrow in the middle of a field. I stay till dark so I can watch the stars. Sinking into the cold curve, I just look up and get lost. It's fun to see how many stars you can pick out, but I always lose track. Always manage to lose something. As night comes, the gold isn't shining in the light and the diamonds seem a bit broken. The wheelbarrow just lost what makes it special, you know? Maybe because it can't compare to the stars, or maybe it's just an insignificant wheelbarrow, who knows? Guess that's why I like it. It's always as insignificant as me, and that's kind of nice. I get off the wheelbarrow for the night, and I hope I see if it has been moved tomorrow, but part of me knows it won't happen. I pull up my socks and head into the berry bushes, down the street, and into the darkness. Thank you.
And so, we have actually come to the winners portion. I mean, you're all winners. I do want you to think that. You do know that. So, but we have some prizes for, along with the beautiful anthology, for our honorable mentions and for our first place winners. And so I'm going to start with honorable mentions now. And the first honorable mention is the poem Sinking City by Indigo V10. And I'm going to say a little bit about it, actually, about all the poems that I chose to give prizes to. So I also want to say that Indigo V10 is from Marin High School, and it was a really a great array of high schools you'll hear in these finalists. So I was very happy about that as well. We really have got poets from all over Marin. So what I want to say about Sinking City, though, is this. It's a personification poem, a sustained metaphor, and it beautifully demonstrates the surprises that a metaphor can unearth if you dare to sustain it, if you dare to go a little deeper. And the poem feels to me like, because of that digging, the poet waded into some truths the poet didn't know, they knew. And here's a line. He tells her she has aged beautifully, but she can feel the water lapping at her knees. So please welcome Indigo to read his poem.
Thank you.
There's a certificate.
Thank you so much.
I can hold it for you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. The Sinking City. She commanded the attention of every admirer. People traveled from worlds apart to ask for her hand in love. She is a brisk kind of beautiful, hands clasped tight on what used to be her glory days. Her arteries were once filled with quicksilver. Gondoliers worked day and evening to bring lovers through the chambers of her heart. But over time, travelers have worn her down, using her body as a power play. He tells her she has aged beautifully, but she can feel the water lapping at her knees. She knows her time is close. She can feel factories making replicas of her youth, but it smells like burning flesh, turning her memories to glass. It is time to give her power back to the ocean, for there cannot be a heaven on earth, and no one but God can walk on water.
And our next honorable mention is Sydney Wetley. And this is a poem called Sister. And this poem is a poignant, part witness, part ode, part instruction poem that explores, that dares to explore our shared precarious human condition. The poet seems to have gathered vision through the poem itself, to look beyond fear and loss and glimpse a dimension where things are possible again. And a line from this poem, just please, my snow angel, eat. Winter is not all about loss. Please welcome Sydney Welty.
Sister, it is winter and you wilt. Color drains from your flesh, skin of moonlight diluted by the tears of the sky. Body crumples, muddied water is stirred by the footstep of passerby. Concrete and bone, bone and concrete. 11:04 and I get the call. Broken voices sound the same every fucking season. You, though, not you. Too poetic for stagnation, there is a beauty in the way you are carried by the tides, reflected in the stars and the revolutions of the earth, drowned out with the blues of a winter landscape. Just please, my snow angel, eat. Winter's not all about loss. Though the trees remain barren, the twigs broken and beat, winter will melt to ballads of rebirth, hymns of resurrection.
And Sydney is from the Branson School. So our next honorable mention is Elise Wing, and I'm going to talk about her poem, which is called Poem About Wandering with My Favorite Person. And Elise is from Sir Francis Drake. And what I felt about this poem is it's a quirky musical love poem. And it's filled with rhythm and rhyme, and it has this perfect ironic twist, because in this poem, the friends talk, quote, long past the veil of nightfall, no rhythm, rhyme, or meter, just you, an oddball, and me, the shameless lotus eater. So, please welcome Elise Wing.
It's the real me this time. Poem about wandering was my favorite person. Love lying loose leaf, like book pages torn merrily, a chapter sweet if brief, willing though not voluntarily, through the aspens and over the bridge, into the twists of whortleberry. We walk together along the ridge until it melts to the prairie, talking long past the veil of nightfall. No rhythm, rhyme, or meter, just you, a charismatic oddball, and me, the shameless lotus eater.
And now for our third place winner, whose poem is Where the Elephants Sing, and the poet is Daria Hong. And Daria goes to San Marin High School. And this poem is a eulogy, and it will take us over continents and seas, and it will take us down and up in our consciousness to our most human level, where the lines between the living and the dead, innocence and wisdom, joys and sorrows blur. And a line from this poem, and in our tears the tribe sings louder in the land where the elephants sing. Please welcome Daria Hong.
Hi, my name is Daria, and this is my poem, Where the Elephants Sing. Tambourines ring in my ear, and the song of my ancestors resonates deep, deep in my core, permeating and spreading to every part of my body. I breathe in the smell of the afternoon, of the savannah and of the hunt, and join the circle. We pass the goat's horn, drink from the kola nut, and listen to the elephants sing. The circle comes alive with the sound of drums and hymns and songs that are fiercer and more moving than I remember from my childhood. I don't realize how much I have missed them, missed the old songs my father would sing, the stories he would tell me, stories none of my teachers knew. I close the lids of my father's eyes one last time, and in our tears the tribe sings louder, more desperately. It begins to rain, the drops sliding down his skin, which is black as the night, smoother than ebony, even in his perpetual slumber, as if the spirits were cleansing him one last time. I know I have done him right for once, laying him down in his homelands, in the place he sacrificed 20 years ago, in order to bring me to a world of running water and books, in the place my father has always loved and missed, foremost in his heart. I close my eyes as his body is lowered, still crying, still mourning, but there is a sort of liberation. He is where he belongs, in the land where the elephants sing. Thank you.
And our second place winner is Julie Nicholson. And it's a poem called In Love With. So we have a love poem here. But it's an unusual and daring love song that demonstrates the immeasurable capacity of the human heart. I'll give you a line. I have slowly been falling in love with the pale, pockmarked face of the moon and the way the ripples on the surface of a lake make it look elderly and wrinkled. Please welcome Julie Nicholson.
Hello, I'm Julia Nicholson, and this is my poem, In Love With. I have slowly been falling in love my entire life, the same way stars slowly drop into a sea of sky, and the same way my mother slowly sways back and forth as music begins to play. I've been falling in love with red-rimmed eyes as they just begin to smile, the pale, pockmarked face of the moon, and the way ripples on the surface of a lake make it look elderly and wrinkled. Slowly, I have been falling in love with the polished granaries beside the river, gleaming, flooded with winter sunlight, and with the blink of quiet when a car passes under a bridge in the rain. Thank you.
And Julia was from Novato High School. I have two different pages. So our first prize winner is from Marin Academy. Her name is Peja Anderson. Is it? I think it's a feminine. Is it right? Peja. Oh, good. And so, picking the first place is always really the thing in a way. Difficult, and I spent a lot of time being haunted by this poem. It moves in such kind of mysterious ways. I think it's kind of beyond the poet herself. So let's see, what I wrote really is that it seems to have been poured straight out of the heart. It bypassed the mind and its guardians at the gate. It just came right out of the heart. And the poet seems to have let something bigger than herself take over, and to let herself stumble through the mysterious parallel worlds of memory and forgetfulness. And it feels like she was led entirely by love as she made her way. The poem is about Alzheimer's, and this is a line from it. I am the child in green overalls, dancing in the reflection of a blank TV screen. So please welcome Peja Alzheimer's.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hi, I'm Peja, and this is my poem, Alzheimer's. From when I was young, it chased me underneath my skin and filled the steel frames. I've heard that cities are tiny demons with oils of yellow and white goodness, like a liquor split from a coconut. I am the child in the green overalls dancing in the reflection of a blank TV screen. So cotton wisps fed her every once in a while, and man loved her too. Her eyes, black like Susan's, telling stories from before. She made me a game of cat's cradle, and they deemed it as radical fashion. She was a trunk for her core, and I was born on the tip of my mother's tongue.
So you should be all filled up by now, and hopefully you can hold that in your heart, what's come in. And I want to thank especially all the people who are behind these poets and supporting them to listen in, and that includes the teachers from the schools, all of you who are here, thank you so much. Thank you to the parents and all your friends, really, too, who listen to you and give you the space to feel and speak. So keep going, and thank you all so much for coming. Thank you.